All right. Let me hit admit to a few more people.
Ready?
Welcome to our Lunchtime Learning welcome to our Lunchtime Learning July edition. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing this training with others. If you will be requesting CLE credit, I will put the course code in the chat. It's 797309. This session is being recorded and will be made available along with the slides at stopRED.org. While you are there, check out Making Connections blog that is posted each month by our RD consultant, Dr. Simmons. Also, if you're not a member of MJJA, consider becoming one, not only to support MJJ's mission to promote justice for children, youth, and families, but to support youth and families in your community. Check out more information on becoming a member at mjja.org. An announcement, consider getting a team together and joining us for our Teeing Off for Kids golf tournament on September 18th at Eagle Knoll Golf Course. Registration and more information can be found at mjja.org. Please mute yourself unless you're asking a question. Feel free to ask questions throughout the presentation by using the chat box, unmuting yourself, or using the raised hand emoji. I want to take the time to thank our funding source. Funds are made available for this project through the Missouri Department of Public Safety and the Missouri Juvenile Justice Advisory Group from funding provided by the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention. Please take the survey after the session that I'll post in the chat box so we can improve these sessions and continue to get funding to put them on each month. And with that, I will turn it over to Dr. Simmons.
Good afternoon to everyone, and we are really excited that you have joined us today. I am very pleased to introduce Dr. Stephanie Baker, and she will give you some memorable information and sources of how you can later on be in contact with her. She is currently the executive director of Hope Academy, which is a private school. And she has been also the coaching coordinator for UC Berkeley. I'm happy because her goal is something that she has lived by that I have seen for the last, I don't know how many years, which is to maximize opportunities for self-fulfillment. And that goes for our youth and their development and decision making, as well as our leadership development. She is an advocate and a partner of Dr. Yvette Jackson. I love the work and the research of Dr. Yvette Jackson. She is a person who framed and designed what we know and respect as the pedagogy of confidence, which is a system for engaging and guiding youth and others into higher levels of their own potential. And so she's going to talk to us about this today. But let me just tell you a little bit, and you've got a full background on her, so I won't take a lot of the time. But she has directed large educational programs and operations. She's led national initiatives for academic equity. And one of her programs that she helped to lead was the Five Essentials Project that some of you may be aware of, that was through the University of Chicago's Urban Education Institute. She earned a PhD in educational leadership and policy analysis from the University of Missouri. So she is one who is very familiar with our Missouri system, both there for the master's too. And she is the mother of young adult now, I can't believe, twins who are in college now. And so without further ado, just read her background. The sister has a lot going on. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Stephanie Baker. Thank you, Stephanie, for being here.
Thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm looking at the names on the screen thinking, I recognize that name. Maybe there's some people in here that I know from my time in Missouri. But before we dig into the content, I know we just have these few instructional minutes, so we're going to get in here and use all of them wisely. But I have to give credit to whom credit is due. And I want to thank you, Dr. Simmons, for your introduction of me. And I want to thank you for being at the foundation of my practice. When I was a master's degree student, this was my professor. One day I was minding my own business and I ran into Dr. Simmons and she said, you need to get your doctorate. And I started making excuses. Well, I'm busy. I don't know if I have this and all the reasons why I couldn't do it. And she said, apply. The deadline is Monday. And I said, okay, because I respect her that much. I did it. And here I am. And my life has been a series of ordered steps. And so I'm grateful our paths crossed. And I said earlier to Liz and to Dr. Simmons, when you call, I answer. So of course I'm here because you asked me to. So here I am, and I'm happy to be. Liz, I want to thank you for getting me to this point. Thank you for the orientation and all the background things that have to happen to make something like this happen. And thank you for also monitoring the chat for us. If you have questions, please put them in the chat. We can stop the agenda at any point and just have a discussion. I don't mind that at all. And so we're going to launch in because we have these minutes. So I already know we have an ambitious agenda. It's tightly packed. If we don't get to everything, it's okay because you'll have the resources at the end of the presentation. Having said all of that, I want to tell you how much I honor the work that each of you does. The idea that you are engaged in this work of empowering, uplifting, helping young people align themselves with their purpose is not easy work. But it's essential work because we know the kind of world we want to live in, and we know that it's rooted in these experiences of young people. So the way we can intervene, the ways that we can empower and affirm helps us in the long run. So thank you for joining me in this effort. We're all in this together. Here we go. This actually should say engaging young people. I work with students primarily, so my heart is really in scholarship with students in classrooms. However, this is really any young person in your life, in your pathway, whoever you come across, your nephews, your cousins, your nieces, whomever. It's about engaging all of them in whatever they're trying to learn, master, or conquer in this pedagogy that we call the pedagogy of confidence. All right, so we're going to dig in. So here we go. So if you're entering this space, I can see your names on the screen, but if you would just type in the city where you are zooming in from, where are you in the world? I'm in Inglewood, California. Shout out to Inglewood. We're undergoing major changes here. Lots and lots of money is pouring into the city, and we're trying to figure out how do we help our children benefit from all of this revenue that's coming into the city of Inglewood. That's where Kansas City, Hillsborough, St. Joe. I saw somebody from Springfield. This is great. So I am seeing some familiar names in this chat. Clayton, Missouri. Providence, Rhode Island. I see you there, Providence. Fantastic. Jefferson City, Missouri. Shout out to Jeff City. That's where I pledged Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated in Jefferson City. Hooray. Fantastic. Thank you for doing that. Thanks for putting all of that in the chat. As much as we are apart, we are together and united in this work on behalf of children. So I appreciate you doing that for me. While we're working together today, our goal is to do three things. We want to build some conviction. We bring it with us. We're here because we are convicted and convinced that students are capable, period. We want to demonstrate some learning growth, our own, by reading some things, talking about some things we might not already know, or maybe deepen some things we are familiar with. That's great. And then we're going to focus on a couple of strategies and practices that seem to engage students in what we call high intellectual performance. All right. And so we're going to look at the theory, a little bit of Dr. Jackson's work out of her framework, and then also the practice. That's the strategy piece where we need to be able to apply theory. Theory in and of itself, in my opinion, is relatively useless to children. They don't care about all the things we know, the stuff we study, and what we think is important. They want to know, how does it apply to my life? And so that's what I try to approach every learning session that way. Let's look at the theory because we should be grounded in something substantial, but then also, what does it look like in real time? So we'll do that. All right, here we go. So question number one, puzzle number one that we have to figure out is this. The great Dr. James Comer, who is a scholar, pedagogue, a respected leader in the field of education, created a framework called the Comer method. The Comer method, is rooted in this idea of developing family-like relationships in school, because some students may never get the kind of affirming messages from home that many students get. They have to get it from school. They are school dependent, right? So in the context of James Comer's work, I want to know who might be able to fill in these blanks, do a little close activity. This is Dr. James Comer. There can be no this without this. And Dr. Eric Jensen, brain scientist, said that rituals do this for learners. Rituals blank learners. It does something to them. So you can put it in the chat. You can unmute, which could be noisy, but that's okay. Noise is good. That's a sign of productivity. But who thinks they can fill in the gaps? You can raise your hand if you want. Thumbs up. Let me know. But I'm going to stop talking and give you a chance to weigh in either in the chat or with your voice in the space. There can be no blank without that. Rituals blank learners. What do rituals do? Rituals repeated behavior over and over again. What does that do for a learner? I'll just wait a few seconds before I say anything else. I see you, Tara. I see you. I see you. Anybody else? Thank you very much for that. Who else? Take a chance. One of the greatest habits of mine, there are 16. One of them is taking responsible risk. I see some people weighing in. This is great. There can be no learning without connections. True that. Thank you, Kaylee. Who else has a thought? Learners and rituals. I see Tara. Anybody else? Yep. Thank you. Wonderful. No learning without relationship. I see you thinking. Thank you. Thank you. No reward. This is wonderful. And if you're me, sometimes it takes me a while to type what I want to in the chat. My spelling is off. I have to go back and fix it. So I'm going to give 30 seconds for somebody else who might want to weigh in. Rewards and risk are critically important. Relationship and learning go hand in hand. Significant learning, significant relationship, hand in hand. Thank you, Claudia. Learning is never ending. True that. And if it ends, we should stop whatever we're doing. If you're not learning anything, quit because you're useless. Okay, perfection without practice. This is great. All right, let's take a look at Dr. Comer's words. Oh, learning without instruction, very important. Here's what Dr. Comer has to say in his work. Let me see where is, oh, clicking the wrong thing. Here we go. Significant learning. Who said that? Someone has read this book. Is it Dezanik? There can be no significant learning without significant relationship. None. Dr. Comer is saying that if we don't build significant relationships with young people, the chances that they're going to take those risks that I talked about and move themselves forward toward their purpose is slim. There are some students that are going to rise no matter what we do. They're going to find a way because that's just the way they're made. But most students need somebody that trusts and believes in them. I just said the reason I have a doctorate is because Dr. Simmons saw something in me that caused her to say, you need a PhD. So everybody needs somebody in their life to say, hey, you have what it takes, get it done, do the thing, apply on Monday, do it. So Dr. Comer is suggesting that in school, in spaces where young people are, we've got to be significant in our relationship with them. We didn't want to know more about them. Be curious about who they are, because that's when they're going to take that risk that pushes them to the next level of their cognition. Okay, rituals and learning. So here's what Dr. Jensen says for the sake of time about rituals, repeated behavior in a learning space, in a classroom, in a system. Repeated behavior engages learners. It grabs their attention because they can expect to be successful at something that they anticipate coming. If they know that in this classroom every day, someone's going to ask me something about myself. In this space where I am spending all of my time, someone's going to ask me a question about my people, my family, my cousins, what I'm interested in. Then I want to go there. I want to be in that space because I know somebody sees me. They see me, they hear me, and they celebrate me. So there's something about cognitive science that says relationship is key. And I'll say this and then I'll slide on to the next piece, but sometimes we are in spaces, sometimes spaces like this, and they say, now we're going to do a community builder. And we say, a community builder. Or I have people say it to me. I never say it. I'm like, hooray, a community builder. But some people are like, it's too touchy-feely. I don't want to do that. I want to spend my time. I do other things, especially shout out to every teacher I know who teaches high school. Because many times it's that grade level, the high school grade level is very serious. All of a sudden, we're so serious. We don't do anything that causes us to do too much other than this content. And we just need to loosen up a little bit because the significant learning happens in significant relationship. All right. I can't build a relationship with you if I never ask you anything about yourself. Done. Okay, let's keep going. So let's do it. Since we're talking about relationship, let's build some. We're going to build community right now. We're going to use a strategy called fierce urgency. And it's not really a strategy. It is a protocol for building relationship around a particular concept. Our concept is urgency. And I said 10 minutes for this. We might do it in 7. I don't know. We'll give it 10 because I want you to have real good conversations. But here's the structure. It's rooted in the words of Dr. King. So I'll give you a moment just to take it in. So we know the context of Dr. King's time and the context under which he was saying these words. And if we think about our present time and we think about those words, there's still a connection there. There's something there that rings really true right now in 2026. But before I move any further, is there anyone that might want to unmute and just read that out loud in the space so that the only voice you hear is not mine? And I'll shift my question. Sometimes I say, is there anyone who wants to? But the truth is, would someone please read that quote out loud?
I can do it.
Yes. Thank you, Tara.
We are now faced with the fact that tomorrow is today. We are confronted with the fierce urgency of now. In this unfolding conundrum of life and history, there is such a thing as being too late. This is no time for apathy or complacency. This is a time for vigorous and positive action.
Thank you. Snaps up for Tara. Need some love. Throw some hearts up, do something so she knows that we heard her read. Thank you. Because it's not easy to do that in a space like this. And I appreciate you doing it. So here we go. Next page. Here are the steps involved. You're going to need probably some paper for this, a little sheet of paper, no big deal. So I want you to consider Dr. King's quote in the context of your professional role. And I'll move that picture in a second. What you do, we all do different things, but in your role as whatever you do, think about that quote, the fierce urgency of now. I want you to consider engaging young people as you think about that, and identify one specific issue or concern that you have for the young people you serve. One thing that really burns you every time you think about it is a burden that you carry for these young people. Think about that one thing. Though there may be many, just choose one. And then also identify one action you could start working toward with the fierce urgency of now that might change or impact that game, change the game for that young person, that issue, right? So we're thinking about game-changing action. That's what we're thinking. One burden I have, and then one action I could take. And then here's the next step. After you do this considering, I'll give you some time to do it. I want you to write something. I'm going to give you a frame, and I want you to write something down. And here it is. I believe if I started working toward this thing with the fierce urgency of now, it could change the game. I'm focused on this thing because, tell us your why. I believe if I started working toward this one thing with the fierce urgency of now, it would change the game. I'm focused on this because, why is that your burden? That's the question. So I'm going to give us 2-minute quick write to just fill in this sentence frame. Then I'm going to put us into small groups. I'm going to ask you to share in a certain way with your group members. So take some time just to think by yourself. I will stop talking so you can concentrate. And then in 3 minutes, I'll set a true timer. No, 2 minutes. I'm sorry. I'll set my timer. We're going to go into small groups. Here we go. Setting my timer right now. I'll check in with you in 1 minute to see if you're ready. We got about 30 seconds left, and I'm just going to check in with you to see if you're ready to move forward. Okay. Is there anyone that needs a little more time? Well, thumbs up, wave a hand if you need more time. Put something in the chat. Wait, or something. Pause for someone to appeal for more time. All right, let's keep moving. So here we go. I'm going to ask you to get into groups. You're going to get into a Zoom room right now. Put you in a room. First thing you're going to do is greet everybody. Hello, everyone. Hey, how are you? Hi, say something nice. We should, right? We should do that. And then find the person who was born closest to the University of Missouri, and they share first. And it's because of the connection Dr. Simmons and I share to Mizzou. I'm a two-time Tiger, so it's in my heart. So find that person in your group. You have to have a conversation to do that. And that person is going to share their frame, share their statement until everybody has a chance to contribute. Here's the challenge. When people share their statements, affirm them. Ask them a question, follow up, make some connections to your own life. So when time runs out, I'll give us about 5 minutes in this group, then say goodbye. That's all we have to do. We're just going to have a nice conversation and then come back together and we'll debrief. Any questions about what we are about to do? I'm going to make the groups while you're thinking. If you have questions, I'm going to get us into some groups, but why can't I see? Can I do that, Liz?
I can do it here. Do you want about 5 in a group?
5 in a group would be perfect.
Okay, here we go.
Thank you.
And
That's the audacity to think I can do something I cannot do. I'm going to make groups. No, you're not. Okay. Ooh, 5 in a group. And as soon as you see where you're headed, just jump in that group and do this part. And I'll put
how long do you want it?
5 minutes. Let's say 1 minute a person, and then a little bit of follow-up conversation. So 5 minutes is good. Thank you.
I don't know that I've done that before, so I think I did it right.
Yeah, they're going somewhere. They're good. This is good. You did a great job, Liz. I've been invited to join room 4. I might join 4 and then jump around and join some other spaces.
Okay.
It's working. I'll wait to see if everybody gets where they need to go first, and I'll go. Okay, Rick, that's okay, Rick. We can be your group. If you can't get in a room, you're stuck with us. This is a slow and steady effort. Anybody else? Is everyone here having trouble getting into a group?
3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's 6.
We can be the group. This is fine. Does anybody in this room want to share what you wrote? I would love to hear it. Anyone? No, not now. I see Shantae's unmuted. Maybe Shantae wants to share. I put you on the spot. If not, we can just wait.
Was it supposed to be like work related?
It doesn't have to be. It could be. As I did say, in your professional role. So yes, it could be. But if somebody wanted to shift it and say, I'm thinking about this with my nephew, I really want to work on X, or my neighbor, that's fine. Did you come up with something, Liz?
I did. I did the being healthy.
Nice.
And then because to live longer for my family, my kids.
That's great. That's a great goal. And it's a lofty goal. Like it's so cool. That's the other way. It's like, no, I'm gonna stay healthy. Yes. That's a good one. Me too. Actually, I'm doing this new routine. I got my green smoothie here. I'm trying to do the same thing because there's too much work to do. Right? For us to be
I'd love to be one of those people that has that fierce urgency, though, that just tackles that. And
it's coming.
Is it?
I don't. Is it? But is it? It's a choice. We get to make a choice every day. We get to choose again. And when I eat donuts, I just say, I'll choose again tomorrow. I'll choose. No problem at all. I think awareness is half the battle. Just thinking, being aware that you might want to do it is on a step in the right direction. So just keep showing up to your life, and pretty soon you'll get
Okay,
there.
I'll take that.
Okay. And I was going to bounce around, but I can't do that either because I can't go. Maybe you can send me somewhere.
Because I
Just
didn't.
send me to a room.
Yes, I
And
can.
every 30 seconds to send me somewhere else, I'll just go. And I can
Just
hear
bump you
folks.
around. All right, let me find you.
Thank you.
I'll send you to. I'm actually gonna send you to room 4 because there's only 2 in there. Oh wait, you're already in room 4.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're bringing us back now? Oh,
Yes, it did automatically at the 5 minutes.
okay, good. I can see it's all coming back in. Welcome back. Welcome back. I hope you had a chance to discuss this in your groups. And so something I'd like for us to think about as we come back is if we deconstructed that activity alone. This is not the only activity in the pedagogy of confidence. However, it exists for a reason. And so I want to take a minute to just break this down. We want to think about the activity itself. Was everyone here? I'm probably starting too soon.
It only shows 17.
Okay, let's wait and see when folks come back in. Sometimes it'll give you a sense of who is coming back into the room.
Here they come.
So welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Glad to see everyone. I see some cameras coming on. Hooray. See some faces. I get energized by the faces in space. Fantastic. So I want to deconstruct what we just did. This is not the only activity that exists in the pedagogy of confidence. It's just one of many, but it just gives us a chance to kind of get started. And so as we deconstruct this, we want to think about our intention. And so here are the pieces that we just walked through. There we go. We did all of that. So my question to you is, what is the significance of fierce urgency? Why would we think about that right now? In your opinion, anybody can unmute, you can put it in the chat, but why the concept?
Your
Why would I
slides aren't showing anymore.
Thank you very much. We did leave and come back. There we go. Okay, so why this topic? That's my question. And you can unmute, you can also put it in the chat, just your thoughts about why did we do this? Any thoughts? If you don't want to voice it, just think about it. It would help me. But I also would love to hear.
Maybe it's about work now. There's someone you can save today, because if we don't put forth more effort, make some changes, be there for these youth today, someone may make the wrong choice, someone may end things, but do it now. So that's why they're pushing urgency.
Thank you, Michelle.
I need saving today.
Yes, because if we just keep on doing, it's easy to keep doing the status quo. Let's just keep doing it. It's comfortable. I'm comfortable. Let's just keep doing the same thing. But the truth is, the children are begging us, do something different. Like, we need somebody to do something different. And so, thank you, Michelle. Yes, indeed. The topic is about right now, right? Right now. And so my next question to this group is, why would I say to a group of adults, say hello to someone in your group, say hi to them, affirm them, ask them a question. Why would we do that with students? Why would I just have them talk about the fierce urgency? Why would I make them say hi or affirm someone and say, hey, good job. I appreciate your thinking. Why did we do that? Anybody have a thought about that?
Point of human connection and contact.
We cannot do this work alone. We cannot do this complex, hard work alone. Young people cannot either. They think they can. They convince themselves. Who said kids needs us? Thank you, Claudia. Yes. We have got to find ways to relate. And sometimes it's as simple as saying, I see you. Hello. Right? Good idea. I love that. That reminds me of a time when they need it too. Okay. And the thing is, they don't always know they need it. So we have to help them find it. Okay. Let's keep rolling. So here's some rationale for why we spend time just listening to people and affirming their stories, right? If in a culture of achievement, if we're trying to get there, whatever we're trying to achieve, it starts with knowing our students and their individual stories and knowing our own. Dr. Yolanda Seeley Ruiz has a wonderful new book called The Archaeology of Self. It just came out. It's all over social media. She's been talking about it for years and it was just published, but it's really about knowing yourself. In learning spaces where you are, you just go deeper when you know you and when you honor the stories of others. So here's another quote. Rebecca Smallberg. Anybody feel like reading that out loud? Now we're just getting warmed up. Anybody want to say, introduce your voice to the space? I can read it. I want to hear somebody.
I'll read it.
Read it.
Storytelling is powerful because it provides a rich opportunity for groups of people to reminisce, share cultural folk tales, exchange narratives, or create new stories, which not only enhance developmental skills, but also creates a bonding environment. Rebecca Smallberg.
Thank you. That is the piece there where we say affirm each other. If somebody says something interesting, tell them that. If it makes you think about a time when you had an experience or a book you read or an article you're writing, say it because it just helps us to bond around things that we know to be important. So that is the why of adding that tag. Affirm someone, ask them a question, and also make connections of your own. All right, so here we go. We're still at the beginning of the session, just building the time, but this is where we're headed. We're going to talk about some of the foundational principles of the pedagogy of confidence and the high operational practices. We call those HOPs. And then we'll have some conversations about practice rooted in a text-based discussion. I hope we get to that. And then we'll have a final reflection, we'll set some goals for ourselves, and then keep moving. And all of this is available to you at the end of the session. Foundational principle number 1 that I want to talk to you about. They're not in order necessarily, but the first one for today is this idea of developing students' schema. And so we know schema has to do with text. Anything that creates a unit of meaning is text. So you can connect to your schema, your background knowledge through anything that connects to yourself. You can connect it to other text, another book I read, an article I've seen, or a movie I saw, right? Or you can connect it to the world, something that's happening internationally or something happening in your world around you. But the idea is that anything that creates a unit of meaning is text. The deeper students can connect with text, the more they own that text, the more they can hold that as their own. And so what I'm asking you to do is think about, in the context of fierce urgency, where did we make those kinds of connections? Where did you see text to self, text to text, text to world? Think about that. You don't have to answer that right now. We're going to get to that. Let's look at principle number 2, and we're going to go back and unpack both of these together. The second principle of the pedagogy of confidence is that we are striving every day in every learning space that we enter to create communities of belonging. We know that when people belong, they feel certain things. People who belong have a sense of affiliation. I'm closely connected and associated with this space. They need me here. Students who are connected and who belong feel value. They feel important to the space and they feel appreciated. People can see me. They know I'm here. In a community of belonging, folks feel investment, meaning that I am going to protect this space because I'm a part of it. They need me here and I belong here. I'm valued, right? So I will actively and willingly support whatever it is you're asking me to do because I believe that I have a personal investment in this particular space. And then finally, people in communities of belonging have agency. They feel that they have agency. They can share their thoughts and behavior and actually influence the way spaces flow and the way they work. They can handle a variety of tasks and situations because they feel like I have the agency to do that. I can make this decision on my own because I am a part of this community of belonging. So those are two principles, schema and communities of belonging. And I'm going to go back to fierce urgency one more time. I know I'm unpacking this a lot, but my question is, did you see opportunity in that activity to make connections, text to text, text to self, text to world? Did you experience in that activity any sense that might lead a student, a young person, or even you to feel a sense of belonging? Like, where was the opportunity in there to develop any of these things? Affiliation, value, investment, agency, in just that one activity. Did you experience anything? And if you did, would you share it in the chat? Or you can share it out loud with your voice in this space. Any connections whatsoever to these two things?
I think for the aspect of creating a community of belonging, it would really go towards, because usually I feel like if there's one person is noticing that there's a fierce urgency for change, they're probably not the only person feeling that way as well. So I feel like anytime change needs to happen that's big or urgent, one person usually is the one to step forward and say this needs to happen, and then everyone else follows suit. And it's like, yeah, I've kind of thought that this entire time. So I think just the idea that there's someone who's willing to take accountability to bring an end goal for a community would definitely help create the
Love that. I love that. Absolutely. We have a colleague who used to say, you are the one the children have been waiting for. You. That should make you look at somebody else, look them in the eye and say, you are the person the children have been waiting for. Somebody, Kaylee, to your point, has to do it or start it. Just take a chance and do it. I love that. Thank you. Any other connections? I usually say 3 sets is free. If I get 3 comments, we move on to the next thing. How about one more? Thank you, Claudia, for weighing in the chat. I'll let you all take a look at that. Yes. That's a huge concern. That's 2. So now we have 2. 1 in the chat, 1 voice, 1 more. Any other connections? Just 1 more. Just 1. If there's none, that's okay. But I will say this, the power in these sessions like this comes from the connections that are made in the group. The agenda is cool. Like, I thought about it before I came. However, the power is in the room, not here. But let's keep going. Maybe there'll be something else. And just know that you can unmute at any point and say anything you like, which Liz already framed for us. But I just want you to know that really was where I believe that the juice or the power comes in sessions like this is from the people in the room, not me. All right, here we go. Because our minutes are ticking away. So here we go. Let's get past this. I'm going to skip this. We already did this. We unpacked it. We saw the steps. All right, here we go. Let's talk about the pedagogy of confidence. Let's get into the actual framework. The definition of the pedagogy of confidence is literally the fearless expectation and support for all students to demonstrate high intellectual performance. We call that the HIP, HIP. And the fearless expectation comes from the adults who surround the children. And eventually it comes from the children themselves. But it has to start with, to Kaylee's point, one person's fearless expectation. When I look at this child in the eyes and I see their strengths and their gifts, I believe that they can access high intellectual performances. It starts with my own belief system. And so, thank you. So that comes from Dr. Jackson's work in the area of gifted education. So let's keep moving. HIP. Another aspect of the pedagogy of confidence is that the purpose of this framework is to transform teacher practice. And it's not just teachers, it's the adults who surround children, to optimize their intellectual capacities. So we're focusing on our own behaviors, our own dispositions, and our own practices to optimize learning for them. But it's not about the children doing the changing. It is about the adults saying, hey, you know what? I'm gonna transform my practice so that I can reach and engage these young people. That's the reason that this framework exists. So why is that so? Why do we care about high intellectual performance? And why do we care about these high operational practices that lead students to optimize their learning conditions? It is for these two reasons alone. It is not just to be highly intellectual because you're smart. That's nice. It's nice to be smart, but sometimes you can be smart and very, very dangerous. There are highly intelligent people that have power who are really, really dangerous, right? And sometimes you can be highly intelligent and highly intellectual and be unwise and just not really be wise. So here's the point of the pedagogy of confidence. Yes, high intellectual performance for the purpose of self-direction. What are my gifts? What are my strengths? And what do I want to know more about? What am I interested in? Because that's engaging, right? Not what are you telling me I'm interested in or I should be interested in. What do I want to know more about? That's self-direction. Here's the power. Self-actualization. In the history of time, there are very few people who are actually self-actualized, who literally are living into their purpose. We can name one of them was Dr. King. We saw him on the slide. Absolutely lived in his purpose, right? What we're trying to do is inspire in young people to find that thing that you were born to do. What is your purpose on earth? And when you figure that out, how do you contribute that purpose to the world? Pedagogy of confidence stirs up student belief in themselves so that they can decide what are my strengths and how do I contribute them to the world. And it comes from discrete strategies and activities like something as simple as that activity, the fierce urgency. Start thinking about what matters to you. Start thinking about what you could do, and then let's work toward that together. It's simple. It's not complex or hard. It's intentional. And that's where we need to get with this practice that we're engaged in with young people in any capacity. Intentional. What are we really trying to do? So pedagogy of confidence is really trying to self-direct, get students to self-direct and self-actualize. That's why. So here we go. Foundational principle number 3. These foundational beliefs drive the work of the pedagogy of confidence, and they're critically important. Intelligence is modifiable. We have to believe that there is plasticity in the human brain. So a student arrives to your classroom, to your space where you are working and learning. They are not all that they're ever going to be when they arrive. There's some work we can do to modify and change the structure of the human brain. And it comes through, we call mediation. Mediation means, like we would think it means, standing in the middle of who the student is and what they need to know. The state of California tells me that they have to know in 3rd grade, they have to know and be able to do XYZ learning standard. But my true challenge, the power that I have is, who is this young person in front of me? What do you love? What are you into? Who are your people? Where do you come from? All the things I can know about a child help me mediate for them, stand between who they are and what they need to know. I'm gonna give you a quick example. We're gonna move into this principle real fast. The example I use is an example of a student who loves roller coasters. They love Disneyland. I live in Southern California. Who doesn't love Disneyland? Knott's Berry Farm, Magic Mountain. We love roller coasters. Young people do too. So if I have to teach that child physics because the state of California says I have to, I'm going to do it through physics, through roller coasters, through velocity and speed and weight. And so it captures their attention differently when you root what they have to know in who they are as a person. Real quick, Dr. Asa Hilliard, one of the greatest thinkers and scholars of all time, in my opinion, is a senior scholar. He worked with me, Dr. Jackson and I, for a really long time in our organization. And Dr. Hilliard says, it's the most important thing a teacher needs to know is not your content. That's important. You should know content. You should study and know things. The most important thing you can know as an adult who surrounds a child is who they are. Who are you? Because when I know that, I can teach you anything. There's nothing you can't learn if I just get a sense of who you are in front of me. So if Asa Hilliard said it, that's good enough for me. And it absolutely makes a difference. It's a game changer. Principle number 2, foundational belief number 2, all students benefit, all of them, from a focus on high intellectual performances. They all do. Every student rises. It's all, I forget the ship's metaphor, but if one ship rises, they all rise, right? If we can just help all of them to focus on HIP, all of the students benefit. And finally, learning is influenced by the interaction of culture, language, and cognition. There's an interplay all the time between these 3 things. And it absolutely directly impacts learning success in the classroom. That's principle number 3. Let's take a look real quick. Cultural language cognition. This is interplay. This is also foundational belief, but I want you to see this image. This is an image that we use in the work with Pedagogy of Confidence to explain this to young people. So we know that learning is influenced by the interplay between culture, language, and cognition. But my question to you, and I will ask somebody to unmute and speak to this or put it in the chat, what does this image even mean? Like, how would you explain this image? Just by looking at it, what are we trying to say about the placement of these words, about the impact or the value they have on student learning? Anybody want to give it a try? I forgot to tell you in the beginning, I was a kindergarten teacher, so my wait time game is really strong. I just need anybody in the space to try. What are we saying with this image? Other than the words above it, what are we saying?
Someone has written in, it dictates understanding of others.
Fantastic. Indeed, it does. Anybody else? Anything else? Thank you, Tara. Because you're actually speaking into the frame. What else might it mean? Yay.
I think those 3 together, that's who the individual is, period.
Period.
And the thing that scares me about it is that when we deny an opportunity for culture to be a part of that learning, we deny the child of an opportunity to learn, period. And
Period.
now there are so many attempts to legislate anything that's about the child's culture. And that is the thing that frightens me most, is not being allowed to even discuss or connect the culture of the child. He's denied, it's erased.
Fantastic. Fantastic. We are on the same page. The fantastic. Desanique, thank you for weighing in the chat. This is fantastic. Okay, so all of this is combined. So the things we've heard in the chat, what we just heard Dr. Simmons say, is exactly what this means to us in Pedagogy of Confidence land. Cognition is the goal. But when we show up to school every day, that's where we're headed. The goal is to learn some things. We want to learn and we want to get stronger and better intellectually, right? Language is the way that I express what I know. And language also is the way that I understand the world, right? Language is 2 ways. It's the language I bring with me when I enter a classroom, no matter what that language is, whether it is the language of my neighborhood, the language of my culture, the language of my origin, my ethnicity, my people. I bring something with me when I show up. But it's also what I'm empowered with when I get there. Oh, don't worry about typos. I get it. I type the same way. It's the language that I'm empowered with when I get there. It's the language of access, industry, entry points, success. There is a language in this economy, the language in this place where we live and grow and think and learn, where it matters. I need to master that language too, but I need to honor the language they bring with them, because that is the language of home, the language of love, the language of safety, right? And then culture, today's unique point, frames everything. My culture is who I am. It's how I see the world. What I perceive the world sees me. It is my mother and my father, my grandma and them. It is my family. My culture is whatever is meaningful and relevant to me. And guess what? I don't peel that off when I get in the classroom. So to try to erase that is painful. To try to pretend like it doesn't exist is hindering. It's oppressive. Like we gotta let people be themselves. Let them be free in the space, because guess what? That's how they make meaning, and that's how they get the cognition. We cannot take those things apart. We got to keep them together, interlocked. There is an interplay that's so powerful. And activities like, I know I keep going back to fierce urgency, but activities like that are inherently cultural. It's what's meaningful and relevant to you. What do you care about? What action can you take? It's placing the expectation or the power of the learning in the life of the child. We're centering them first so they can make meaning, make connections, and soar. All right, let's keep going. I know we have 9 minutes, and I want to give a little bit of time for you to ask questions if you have them. This frame of reference speaks to culture, language, and cognition. We'll do this We won't get to the other two things, but that's okay. I'm going to share them with you anyway. And when you see them, you'll totally understand them in the context of what we've talked about. This is what the frame of reference in the Pedagogy of Confidence looks like in theory. It is my culture. It is how I see the world, and it's how I perceive the world sees me. Does the world think I'm valuable, capable, that I have potential? Do they see anything in me that's worthy of value? And that's where Dr. Comer's position about students who are school dependent, somebody has to be giving you messages of, I see you, I value you, I care for you, you can do this, right? My frame of reference is all of my prior knowledge and all of my lived experience. It's everybody I know, it's everything I've ever done, every place I've ever been is my frame. And it wraps around me, and I take it with me everywhere I go. And I attach meaning to it through that lens all the time. So this is what we were going to do. I'm going to talk us through it. One of my favorite things to do with young people, but also with adults, is to say, take a minute and create a frame for yourself. We think about it in the context of these 5 things. What is meaningful and relevant to you? Think about some obstacles you've had to overcome. It's important because eventually we're going to get to the place where we say, if I can do that, I can also do this hard thing. If I can do that hard thing, I can do this hard thing, right? What helped you overcome? Was it a person? Was it a scripture you read? What was the thing that helped you get through it, right? Name somebody who believes in you. This is important for young people all the time. And especially students who are school dependent, who might not be able to name a relative for whatever reason. They can say, you believe in me, if we have set ourselves up to be that person, right? What if we were the one literally that the children was waiting for? What if? Okay. And what might that person say about you if they had to talk about your character publicly? What would they say? If, for instance, my grandmother, she's always going to say, oh no, Stephanie would never do that. Oh, of course she did that. She's amazing. If I tap a baseball with a bat, I might as well be, I don't know, Jackie Robinson, because that's how deeply she believes in my ability to do anything. I don't have the heart to tell her. Anyway, let's keep moving. So I only have a couple of minutes, but here's the thing. I have students and adults go through these steps. They draw these things in the frame that they've created for themselves. And then we share those things, which we will not have time to do. But I hope you'll take this and apply it and see if I'm onto something. And then this is a video. I'll share the link to the video with you about a young man that we got to work with named Caesar. Caesar is a young Latino male who has multiple sclerosis. So he's in a wheelchair, right? He's in an arts school. And he tells his own story about how he wasn't in public school and they just put him in the corner. They put him in the corner because he couldn't really do anything. They didn't think he could do anything. So they put him in the corner and he was literally withering away. And then he moved to this school. This is a school in Boston. And he found a teacher named Kate. And Kate was like, hey, you like to draw? Hey, let me teach you some new mediums. Let me show you some new things. Let me show you this and that. And he started to get turned on by art and he started drawing and creating things. And then he learned that he knows his body is going to eventually give out, but he can do things with his mouth. They have technology that will let me paint with so I'm going to be an architect. So he went from sitting in the corner in a classroom where nobody could see him to believing that he could be and will be an architect. It doesn't take much. It just took Kate. So I'll share the link to the video. It's way better than the way I'm framing it. But then you can see where we go after that. I have the young people make a frame for Caesar. So what mattered to him? What did he have to overcome? How did he do it? Who believed in him? And what would she say about him if she had to testify about his character? And you begin to see connections between the text and me, text to text, text to self, text to world. And when students can make connections like that, it unlocks something inside of them that makes them want more. It's engagement. It is layering and scaffolding instruction in such a way that makes them say, give me more of that. And you know who gets better when they do that? Us. When they start leaning in and they start saying, hey, teach me, I came to learn, we get better. So, and I'm not just talking about what I think. This is absolutely what I know and have proven in practice. Jenna, thank you for saying that in the chat. People are more likely to open up and feel comfortable, accept it if someone engages with them first. Build a connection. It's not hard to do. It's not hard to see somebody and tell them I see you. It's just so important. Jenna, thank you for saying that. Culture, I said this already. Dr. Jackson defines it as whatever is meaningful and relevant to you, to the system, to the school. We all have culture. The culture is everywhere. The disconnect is when the culture that I bring with me to school and the culture that is school clash. And we got to find a way. Sorry, we have to find a way, more grammatically correct. We have to find ways to connect who the student is and what they bring and who it is we're trying to get them to discover, right? Love it. Claudia, that is the key right there unlocks the lock. It only takes one person and one child. That's it. It's not hard. And it's also free. It doesn't cost us any money to be kind, none. These are the 7 high operational practices. So that what I'm saying is not just up in the clouds in theory. This is real life stuff. It breaks down into strategies for each one of these practices. Fierce urgency is one of them, but we got a million of them. And there, I will share whatever I can with you. I have an article that we were going to read and unpack. If we had 3 hours, we were going to unpack this article, and I'll put you in groups and have you discuss it. No worries. I'll share the article with you. Not a problem. This is the excerpt. Yvette Jackson, I said she spent time in gifted land is what she called it, where she recognized that she was in New York City running the gifted program that was set aside only for certain students deemed gifted. And they got all this enriched and beautiful instruction. And she started thinking to herself, hey, don't all students deserve this? Shouldn't they all have access to this kind of, and that became the pedagogy of confidence. Yes, of course they should. And they can all do it. They can all get in there and be gifted. But guess what? There's a system that says, oh no, only these students get this special instruction. We interrupted that. Everybody deserves that. Okay, here we go. So we're not doing that. That's the quote. We're going to discuss it. You'll get this protocol. It's another pedagogy of confidence protocol. I want to get to the thank you really quick before we go anywhere else. Okay, we said that already. Do that. I want to get to the thank you part. All right, so this is important. This last piece. Another really powerful thing to share with students. I have 1 minute left. When we start talking about communities of belonging, that's sort of abstract and it's lofty. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But we ask the students to think about what would it look like if we all felt like we belonged here? And they draw pictures of it. They write words. This is what it would look like. And every student can do this, right? What would it sound like if we all belonged? And they can quote what it sounds like, what they want to hear. You're getting a sense of what helps them feel included and special. And what would it feel like? It would feel like respect. It would feel like love. It would feel like, right? They know exactly what they want. We just have to break it down for them and make them see it. Make the abstract practical. So when we do that, it helps students to apply then and treat each other with respect. I said it sounds like, would you please hand me my? So let's do that. We know what it sounds like. Let's practice it. So we're just trying to make it plain for them. All right, this is what I want to get to. This is the last piece and I'm done. And it's very short, but it's important about the way we see students and we see them one individual at a time. Here it goes. And then I'm out. Uh-oh, it's got to play. First of all, I got to get it to play. There we go. Very short, 1 minute.
It's okay if you're scared. So am I. But we're scared for different reasons. I'm scared of what I won't become. And you're scared of what I could become. Look at me. I won't let myself end where I started. I won't let myself finish where I began. I know what is within me, even if you can't see it yet. Look me in the eyes. I have something more important than courage. I have patience. I will become what I know I am.
There it is. That's the question. What do they know they are? What do they know they are? And how do we help them discover who they are? We can do it together. Thank you, everybody, for this wonderful time. I know I'm out of time. I appreciate you. I'll stay for questions if you have them. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. And if you, I'll turn it back over to Liz to kind of help wrap us up. But that's really it. Thanks for giving me this space. I wish you all the best in the roles that in which you serve. You got this. That's what I'll say.
I must say, bravo, bravo. And I'm seeing a lot of thank yous come in to the chat box. And this was wonderful. I wish we had more time, and I hope that we will take away the core of this message. Remember, modify, help to modify. Remember to mediate. All of this. This is fantastic. Thank you so much. I know we're out of time. Liz?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
absolutely. Thank you. I will get this, the recording and the slides and any other additional handouts she has put onto our website, stopred.org. Hopefully by tomorrow, you should be able to log on there and see all of that information. Stay tuned for next month. I'll release information on that as soon as it's available. And then just be sure to take the survey that I posted in the chat, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Stay in the
you.
fight. Stay in the fight. Stay in the fight.
All righty, we'll talk. Thanks again.
All right. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Do we have, how would they have your contact info? Is it going to be posted with your slides you're leaving with Liz?
Yes, I'll post.
Okay.
And I'll send the links to every video. I'll send the links so people can spend time looking at those without rushing.
Okay.
And I'll put my contact information there.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you. So proud.
That means the world to me. You know that. Take
All
care.
right. We'll
Okay.
talk.